back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, we love to do scratch cooking on this channel. So anything we do is going to be made from scratch. Whether we grill it, we fry it, we bake it. Welcome everyone. Today, we're going to be making some chicken spaghetti. It's a very simple recipe. Now, there's several ways you can make chicken spaghetti. And right now, I am cutting up some chicken, boneless, skinless chicken breast and cutting all the fat off. I'm also removing the moisture from the chicken. Now, you can use chicken thighs, boneless chicken thighs, or to make it even easier and a faster recipe, you can also use a rotisserie chicken that's store-bought. I've done that many times and it's a very good flavor. All you would do on that is you would take your rotisserie chicken and pull the parts of the chicken that you like off. And then you could just slice everything up and add it to your sauce. But I'm going to show you from scratch how we're going to make this full recipe in around 20 to 30 minutes. So what I'm doing is I'm continuing to take the moisture off the chicken. I'm trimming the fat. And then we're going to be seasoning our chicken. But first we're going to put a rub on it with olive oil so our seasonings can stick better to our chicken. So here I have some extra virgin olive oil. And it may be regular olive oil, but we have olive oil and we're going to rub both sides of our chicken. And then we're going to season our chicken after this with kosher salt. And I'm using kosher salt because the flakes are bigger and it's going to stick to our meat better. So I'll use kosher salt, black pepper, onion powder, garlic powder, and adobo seasoning. Now that our chicken is seasoned, we're going to take our pan and we have it coated. The bottom is coated with olive oil already, and our pan is heated. And we're going to sear our chicken breast for around 3 to 4 minutes per side. And real important to always check your internal temperature of any meat that you're cooking. Make sure it's the correct temperature just to keep from getting sick. And when we cook our chicken, you can see when I lifted it up, we want it to be a nice brown color on the bottom. And once we see that color, we can flip it over. That's around the color that we're looking for right there. That's a nice sear, and you see the edges that have a nice crust to it. So we're going to continue to let our chicken cook and start cutting the vegetables up. I'm working with 1 green bell pepper, 1 red bell pepper, and half an onion. Now you can use any onion you want. You can use white onion, yellow onion, or red onion. I've used all of them in this recipe and they all work. Let's make sure when you cut your bell pepper to get the seeds out, because the seeds are bitter. We don't want to taste the seeds or the veins, which is the part that's sticking up right there on the bell pepper. And so when I cut my bell peppers, I like to cut the top first, and I pull the bell part of it off. And then from there, you can by hand just pull your seeds out, rinse everything out, and make sure our seeds and veins are go. Now what I'm going to do is I'm cutting my bell peppers into strips, and then from the strips we will cut the strips into smaller bite-sized pieces to make it easier to eat in our spaghetti. Now that we're done cutting our vegetables, we have another saucepan going with butter in the pan, because the butter is going to give us a really good, rich flavor to our vegetables. And the vegetables are the base for our sauce that we're going to make. And so what we're going to do is we'll saute our vegetables, and we want to caramelize them, so we want a brown color to our vegetables. So when you start to see your onions get darker, then you know your vegetables are done like we want them to be. And so when we do this, we'll do this on medium heat as well. So our vegetables are sauteed like we like them. So now what we're going to do is going to pour around 1 cup of chicken broth in our vegetables. And by using a broth, you're going to get a richer flavor to your sauce. You can use water or milk, but the broth gives it a better taste, because what it does is it enhances the chicken that you're going to put in this sauce. Now, what I'm going to put in here is around 16 ounces of a processed cheese. There are other cheeses that work, but for this particular sauce, the processed cheese makes it melt faster. And I also added shredded medium cheddar cheese. That's going to give us a nice bite to our sauce. Now, we want to stir this on medium heat as well, because it's going to cook pretty quick. And once we actually get it to start cooking, then we'll reduce our heat to low. So while we're letting our sauce cook, we'll keep checking back on the sauce. The chicken has cooled down for around 10 minutes. And when you let the chicken rest, it's going to actually be juicier because you're letting the juices redistribute inside the meat. So as you can see, when I'm cutting the chicken, you can see the juices coming out of the chicken. So that means that's how you know you seared your meat really well, because when you sear the juices inside the meat, and it makes for a better tasting chicken, steak, whatever you're cooking at the time. And so when we do our chicken, we're going to cut them into strips, and we're going to cut the strips into bite-sized pieces. It just makes it easier to eat when we're eating our spaghetti. Okay, so we have our chicken cut into bite-sized pieces, and we see our sauce is coming along very nicely. This is where we want our sauce, about this thickness right here. And we will reduce the heat as well, because as this sauce sits, like any other sauce, it's gonna thicken up. Now that our sauce is what we want it to be, we will pour the chicken inside of the sauce and just stir it up and coat the chicken as well with it. So now that our sauce is done, we've cooked some spaghetti noodles and what the instructions said on the box. And so now we'll toss the spaghetti noodles inside of our cheese and chicken mixture. And you could use linguine as well, or angel hair pasta if you wanted to, but I like the spaghetti. And so we'll toss this. And when we do this, we will serve immediately to keep it from getting thick up. And this is good the next day. It's good for leftovers. You can freeze this for several months in your freezer and just heat it back up. It's a family favorite. All right, so now that we have everything well combined and stirred, we're gonna immediately serve this so we can keep our sauce where we want it to be. So every ingredient I use will be in the description. Like, subscribe, and leave me a comment. We'll see you on the next video.